Good morning, Sully.
What's happening, man?
Just knocking the cobwebs out, man.
I hear you.
At every 9:40 on Saturday year round, putting the old coffee down and snapping out of it.
So, can you picture your boy Kevin Minnick sitting there in the old easy chair reading The Night Before Christmas?
Oh man, yes I can. Yes I can, because I know that Kevin. I don't know if he's really into the Christmas spirit all the time, but I know he probably had done it in years past for his two boys, who great kids. He did a great job, so I think a great father probably sat there and read that to him. Absolutely.
I wonder what the reaction was when they got to be about 15, 16, like, oh, come on, Dad, we got to keep doing this. But hey, it's a Christmas tradition, man.
I can say this: when we worked together, he never read it to me. But I mean, that's
you're not in the loop, man.
I know. No, I'm on the outer circle.
You're not in the inner circle.
That's right. I'm on the outer fringes.
Oh, so I was out at a Holy Spirit girls basketball game. Ran into Coach Ralph Palone after the game, and man, he was just, that dude loves talking some wrestling. Man, he could talk all night wrestling. He's doing all this name dropping of guys at the Beast of the East. I'm like, Coach, I don't know these kids.
Yeah, Ralph is a very infectious personality, and it's great for the sport. It's great for Holy Spirit. And I remember when I first met Ralph, I called him to ask him something that I didn't really know if he would answer, given the nature of what it was, and because I think it was about the weight allowance stuff last year, that whole snafu that ended up becoming an issue. That really wasn't, but it's a very weird situation. And I just kind of said, like, what happened? And he just told me everything. I mean, he's very upfront. He's got nothing to hide. He does a great job with those kids, he's got a couple real hammers in there this year with Fitzpatrick and Wazen.
Yep.
And man, he's just got energy, man. He wants to be out there. And I watched him last year at a couple of meets, and I said, it's no secret why people want to wrestle for Ralph Palone. It seems like he's your biggest cheerleader, and he's so into it. It would be hard not to want to wrestle better for him than maybe some other coaches. Just don't exude that same personality. But Ralph's a fun guy, man. He's fun to talk to. He's fun to be around, and certainly Fitzpatrick finishing fourth at the Beast. I mean, that's a really big deal. That's a really big deal. Yeah,
he's gonna have a heck of a season, man. I'm interested to see how things shake out for him. He's definitely one of those guys that can maybe even place it in the top 4 or 5 at states. Given what he did last year.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, if you finish top 4 in the Beast, and we got a long way to go here, and a lot of stuff's going to happen, and there's injuries, and Impetigo, and all this nonsense. But you finish top 4 in the Beast, I'm expecting you to finish top 4 in the state for sure. You never know how things are going to break, but Tim Fitzpatrick's one of the best wrestlers in South Jersey. He made that very clear last weekend.
Yeah, and I think he beat some kid who was like, what, second or third in the nation or something like that?
Yeah, that tournament is such a glutton for excellent talent, and to finish there at that spot is really, I think that's a badge of honor that Tim Fitzpatrick will have the rest of his life. I mean, if he walked down the street and say finished fourth at Beast of the East, anybody who knows wrestling knows that's quite an accomplishment.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt, man. There's some there's some real studs at that every year, and that's one of those tournaments where you kind of see where you're at. If you're one of those elite wrestlers, you kind of see where you're at real quick.
Yeah, definitely. And I think for some kids, they go there early in their career in high school, and it can be a wake-up call because, quite frankly, there's guys who wrestle year-round around the country, and you kind of know what your measuring stick is in terms of major college wrestling, too. I mean, and you can kind of see how you line up earlier in your career. And, later on, you look at a guy like Quinn Kinner from Kingsway who won the thing this year. He lost in the final last year. Quinn Kinner will wrestle anybody, anywhere, at any time. I mean, he's going all over the country and knew he had to, really, to challenge himself, to get better. It's what he wanted to do, and he's going to Ohio State. Now, everybody can't be Quinn Kinner, but you see, to freestyling wrestling, all these different faces you see and different styles, it really is a benefit to go to a tournament like the Beast early and see how you add up.
We're talking with Mark Trible, the Courier-Post, talking some high school wrestling. And, Mark, the thing that struck me when I was talking to Coach Pallone after that basketball game was, man, these high school wrestling dudes, the coaches, the wrestlers, the parents, they know everybody's name. They know, like, what the kid did at junior nationals when he was 12. I mean, it's one of those sports where these people just, like, they know all the kids. They see them at all these tournaments. They research. I mean, it's an incredible fan base, unlike pretty much any other sport, I think.
It really is. Okay, so last night I was at Gateway. Collingswood wrestled Gateway, and Gateway ended up winning that really right at the end. And I'm sitting there next to a guy and a friend of his, and the guy next to me, I guess his son was wrestling JV, and he hung around to watch the match, knew it would be close. And, the difference in how much information the casual fan knows about wrestling, for wrestling. His other buddy looks at me and first asks a question that's kind of neutral, like, who do you think should win this? So I'm thinking, well, maybe he isn't exactly in tune to, the backdrop here. And then he just lists off four guys he wants to see wrestle. Will they bump him up? Will they move him down? They should do this. They should do that. They should, and I mean, that's what you're dealing with. As I said at the beginning of the story, that that match last night made accountants out of everybody in the building because we knew where the points were coming, where the points were going, who would do what would happen where, and everybody. I mean, it's like everybody in the stands knew that too. That's really it's remarkable. And every year when we start up here in December and beginning of January, I never fail to be surprised at how knowledgeable, how entrenched in the sport the fans are. It's amazing. It makes it such a pleasure to cover.
Yeah, the one gripe I have, Mark, is in some of these dual meets you get into January or whatever, and I hate when they bump two really good wrestlers away from each other to try to get a team point, or I understand they're trying to win as a team, but man, it'd be nice to see those kids go at it, and then you go, oh, well, now we got to wait till districts to see these guys go at it.
Yeah, and I think that I think ultimately it's just because there's too many weight classes, Sully.
Yeah.
And it really, I mean, I think that's an offshoot of that. Certainly there would be guys ducking other guys regardless. There's just coaches who believe in take the points where you can get them. And that's fine and good. They're entitled to that. They're the coach, But you're right. To see these guys man up one-on-one.
And it's not like the kids don't want to. They want to wrestle that other kid, you know what I'm saying? But the coach is like, we can get better points if we move you here, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and ultimately, too, you see some of those kids who maybe if their coaches did move them around a lot, sometimes they get the district, state, regions, they might finish a spot out of advancing. Or maybe they go out early, and you think, yeah, maybe that's why. It wasn't tested enough.
Yep.
Then it falls back on that kid. And, when a kid misses regions by one spot or by 1 point, are you going to walk over and tell them, hey, well, don't worry. Remember we won that team match back in the beginning of January.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, it can do a disservice to the kids individually sometimes, too.
Mark, what are you looking forward to over the break here? I know we got some tournaments coming up. I usually get out to the Marinelli over at Egg Harbor Township for at least a little while. Anything you got on your radar you're going to be covering this week coming up?
For me, I am going to I will be going home next week to see my folks for the holidays.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I don't know how much I'll be around, but I do know, I mean, you got Marinelli. I believe the Mustang Classic down at Brick will be good. There's always a handful of really, really good Christmas tournaments. There's plenty to see. I think there'll be the 28th, the 29th, the 30th. So, it's nice to get that individual stuff. It's like the first of the year is kind of that marker where, okay, we can do some individual, some team, and then the new year kicks in. We're going to go with team for a couple months, and then we're going to get back to it. So, we'll see how things fall. And, hopefully everybody has a happy holiday and makes weight after Christmas dinner.
Yeah, right. Don't go too crazy with the Christmas ham if you got a wrestling match in 2 days.
An extra plate means a couple extra laps.
Good stuff, man. We appreciate it, Mark. Thanks for taking a few minutes and enjoy the holidays with your family. Take a few days off. I'll put in the good word for you with the brass over there at the Courier-Post.
Thanks, Sully. I need all the help I can get, man. Happy holidays to you and Cole.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too.
That was Mark Trible of the Courier-Post. Does a great job covering high school wrestling.